back to the JR Takes. As always, Ryan Rogers and Jonah Hoffman coming at you live. And Ryan, the season just ended. Well, the regular season, that is.
Indeed.
For the Seahawks, they pulled it out against the Rams, and obviously, to our knowledge now, the Lions pulled off the upset against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And very surprised with that one. I thought for sure that Detroit was going to go in there and lose a close game, but I by no means thought that they were going to go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers. But here we are, sitting pretty and as the 7th seed. So
yeah, it was absolutely crazy, man. And I gotta say, the Lions put out a spirited effort. You know, like Dan Campbell, I am a fan of that guy. He motivates that team like they haven't been motivated in my lifetime. And all that aside, Green Bay fucked that game up, dude. They blew it. So, I mean, they should have the best home field advantage in football post-January with how cold it is and how acclimated they are to it. But, you know, first of all, the penalty, what was the guy's name? What the hell is his name? I can't remember the defender's name, but he walked up to the ball before the Lions snapped it on a field goal and just tried to grab it for some reason.
I didn't see that play.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, man, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but dumbest penalty I've ever seen in my life.
Was it Walker?
No, that I'm going to get to that later because that might break his record for dumbest penalty I've ever seen in my life. And those are both huge plays. I mean, that pushed the Lions field goal 15 yards closer, I believe, and made it a gimme on a night where kicking a field goal was not easy. I mean, I think the Lions kicker missed 2 throughout the night, and kicking when it's in the 20s, it's no easy task. But then the Quay Walker penalty, where on the week where Damar Hamlin has cardiac arrest on the field and is saved by training staff and EMT professionals, you just shove a Lions medical staff professional for no reason. Like, what did he do to you? he was just like, oh, I'm just gonna come up here and do my job, don't mind me, fuck you, and just shoved him. Like, why? And then Devontae Wyatt comes up behind him and like chest bump. Like, what was those guys' agenda against the medical staff? Where did show me on the doll where the medical staff guy hurt you? Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I mean, those were huge plays, but to move on from the stupid penalties for a minute, Aaron Rodgers is kind of a choke artist at home in January. It's just at this point, it's kind of his lasting legacy. I mean, you think back to 2010, wins the Super Bowl. The next year goes 15-1, puts up one of the most ridiculous regular season performances by a quarterback ever. And then they choke at home to the Giants, who were a middling team that year. Mm-hmm. You think back to 2013, they make the playoffs, lose to the 49ers at home.
Well, also, it's just crazy because Aaron Rodgers, like I was saying the other day, I feel like the Packers have more success when they're not the 1 or 2 seed.
You did say that.
And I'm just shocked because I thought for sure they were going to go in, win that game on Sunday, and be like one of the hottest teams in the playoffs. But I was wrong. And I feel kind of bad because I really wanted the Seahawks to not make the playoffs before week 18, just because I wanted the higher pick.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, it could be like huge for all of our rookies, all of our young guys, Geno included, to get that playoff experience. Even if we lose against the Niners, which I think is going to happen, at least we'll get that opportunity for all those guys to be able to play on that level and kind of come together in that moment. And I think that'd be good for guys like Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant, etc. So
yeah, I mean I mean, dude, Shelby Harris is in his 30s and he's never been in the playoffs.
He's never been on a winning team.
Yeah. So I think this is huge for everybody on that roster because besides Bruce Irvin, I can't think of a single guy on our team who's, been deep in the playoffs, been in the Super Bowl, won a playoff game. I can't think of any.
Can we just also stop and think about Bruce Irvin and where he's at right now in his career? Because
it's amazing.
Think about how like mad he was when he left for Atlanta, or But did he leave for Atlanta? I can't
I thought
even
it was
really.
the Raiders.
Maybe it was the Raiders. But remember when he was like, I'm going to Atlanta. Believe that. And was
I
like
do remember
really
that.
pissed at our team. And like now he's back and he's kind of like one of the leaders on our defense.
It kind of seems to be a common theme with, some of the old school Seahawks is they get, they come here, they're young, they got a chip on their shoulder. When it comes to contract season, they get spurned if they don't get the massive offer from the Seahawks. And then they go elsewhere and they chase the money. Find out there's something special about the atmosphere and the culture that we have here in Seattle, and they want to come back. I mean, look at Richard Sherman, Cliff Averill, Bruce Irvin now. I mean, there's Doug Baldwin, KJ.
KJ is like, I think, one of the biggest examples.
Well, and look at the love fest we just gave Bobby on Sunday. Like, I know, like, they kind of did Bobby dirty the way they cut him. I don't think it was their intention to do that, though. All this to say, like Seattle has a very unique culture in the NFL, and it's a winning culture, and it's something people want to be a part of and continue to be a part of even after their playing days are over. And Bruce Irvin said, which is the same thing KJ said last year, he either wants to come to Seattle or retire. That's all he's got left. And it's been amazing to see Bruce Irvin. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think he has at least 5 or 6 sacks this year. And, you think back to the Giants game where he throws Saquon Barkley's body into Daniel Jones for like, do you remember that play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think we played Bruce a little too much towards the end of the season and Boye Mafe a little too little. But in recent weeks, we've figured out a better rotation, and look how much better the pass rush has been. Which I guess, let's just talk about the last couple weeks here while we're on the topic.
Watching our defensive ends just punish Baker was one of the funniest. Like seeing Baker get just like abused.
He was
like
getting clobbered back there, man. That was like, I mean, Kobe Bryant got in on a sack. Boye Mafe had a really good, a limited action, but in his like 20 snaps or whatever he played, he had like 3 pressures and a sack, and a good sack at that. And Bruce just fucked him up on one play, and then gets up and does his cross arm.
I mean, I would never wish for Baker to like have a injury or anything that, but I do enjoy watching him get tackled by like 3 other dudes and slammed to the ground. It's really funny.
I guess there's no nice way to say that, but I agree. There's something profoundly enjoyable about watching Baker
I think maybe just because he came into the league so cocky that I was like, I don't like this guy, and it's going to be hard for him to ever win me over. And
do you think he woke up feeling dangerous on Sunday?
He's certainly feeling something today. I'll give you that.
And just going back 1 week real quick because he missed the game. I was at the Jets game, hungover and tired as fuck. It was awesome. We beat their ass. Don't really have much else to say about it other than Mike White put up the worst performance that we've had for a defending or opposing quarterback this season. And also, Sauce Gardner is the real deal. That guy is fucking good. He really locked up DK. I was disappointed, but it's kind of cool to just watch someone that is going to be dominant under the lights like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
Quandre Diggs, a guy who I've been rough on this season because it's been a challenging season for him. He's made 2 almost identical interceptions back to back weeks here, but the play he made on that deep ball Baker threw, I thought that was season over when the camera panned to Van Jefferson, I think just wide open, like 40, 50 yards downfield, and no one.
Well, Quandre said that was his favorite interception ever. And I think that was one of the coldest moments of the season when he pointed the ball at Bobby.
I know.
Because, like, I'm sure someone has a still shot photo of that somewhere.
They do. Yeah.
And I want it. Because
I want a poster of that.
Yeah.
There's a few moments from the Seahawks regular season that just are always going to stay with me. I think of years past, I think of when Marshawn Lynch juked out Ray Lewis in 2011. I don't know if you remember that play.
Yeah.
Obviously, Beastquake. There's a few snapshot moments from this year that just define the season. I think of one of them when Kenneth Walker runs that really long touchdown against the Chargers, and in the background you can see a lady giving him the double middle fingers.
Or when Tom Brady fell down and Tariq Woolen picked the ball. That was one of my favorite moments.
It's hard not to choose that. That game kind of sucked, but That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a football game. Tom Brady running around against a 22, 23-year-old that runs a 4.2 40, and Tom Brady's slower than us. But anywho, Quandre Diggs picking that ball off, pointing at Bobby Wagner. It was awesome. In the moment, I was like, why the fuck didn't you get more upfield, dude? You had room to return that, but end result is we kicked the game-winning field goal, win the game, move on. Now I'm happy that he did it.
Yeah.
And I guess to summarize that game, I feel like it was kind of a epitome of how this whole season has gone. It's been ugly at times. We did not always put up a complete performance, but it was gutsy. I know Gino maybe played his worst game of the season, but the touchdown pass he threw to Tyler Lockett was one of his best throws of the year. That was phenomenal ball placement, and it was kind of a bullet too. Like that wasn't a pass you can hang up there. That's got to be dropped in on a line. So I believe in Gino. I really think this locker room believes in Gino, and I think Pete Carroll believes in Gino. So I expect him to be back next season. But moving on to the playoffs, because we're here. The Lions did us the ultimate favor. Thank you again to Detroit.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we move on to the playoffs, because this just got posted by the Seahawks Instagram. Our home and away opponents are posted, and looks like we're playing Pittsburgh at home, which that might be a game that I want to go to.
See Kenny Mittens Pickens.
It would just kind of be cool to see the Steelers. I think I like seeing teams that are that don't normally come to Seattle.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would like to see the Eagles game because I know we play them at home.
That would be cool.
Year.
Dang, it would be really cool if the Bengals were coming to Seattle. But,
yeah.
Oh well. But anyway, sorry. Going back to the playoffs. Let's just pull up the old playoff bracket here and kind of give our little 2 cents on predictions as far as the first week, wild card weekend. Niners, Seahawks, we'll just go around the board here. I personally think we're going to lose, but it is tough to beat a team 3 times. Didn't think the Lions were going to win, so
yeah,
maybe we're going reverse jinx here. Niners, going to pull it off. I'm wrong.
I'm going to, so I think there's a ton of echoes of 2010 with the Seattle team. This team is much better than the 2010 Seahawks, but the underdog mentality and the fact that we're going into a wild card game against a vastly superior opponent on paper, and nobody's going to give us a chance in this game. We're already 10.5-point underdogs. I just have a feeling Pete Carroll, that sly bastard, is going to pull out one of his miraculous coaching jobs where he just makes us perform like gods. So I'm going to just throw out a score, 22-21, Seahawks win on the last play of the game. And the 49ers are stunned. They're going all in on this season. They got their, Wonder Boy rookie quarterback, last pick of the draft, and Brock Purdy playing out of his mind for some reason. They went all in on Christian McCaffrey, and they are going to come up empty-handed.
I do think if they do lose, I think one of their 3 playmakers, Debo, McCaffrey, or Kittle, I think one of them needs to go down with an injury if we're going to win this game. I think we got to get lucky there.
We got to get lucky all over the place to win the game. There's no logic to my prediction here, but sometimes football is an illogical sport. And I believe in the magic, but if we lose, I have nothing bad to say about this season. This has been a magical ride that no one expected. I mean, we had some predictions go well here, but neither of us thought Gino was going to fucking break 4 franchise records.
No, I didn't even think he was going to start more than 4 games.
Yeah, we were team horsecock lock. Yeah. And, I still...
not me, really. I was Baker.
You were Baker.
And I'm no longer Baker.
Yeah, you just said you liked watching him get killed.
This is true. But
let's just go through our full playoff bracket predictions. Moving on to the next game, Vikings and Giants. This is a matchup of 2 teams that I think just shouldn't even be in the playoffs. They won some games, they did some stuff, but I don't believe in either of these teams.
No.
I almost wish they could just tie and both lose, but I'm picking the Vikings to win in some dumb, like 28-23 victory where both teams fumble like twice and it's just hideous.
I think the Vikings are gonna. I think it's gonna be more like 28-13. I think it's gonna be a multi-score game.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, dude. Daniel Jones, he's one of the worst quarterbacks ever, I think.
I just still hate that his name is Daniel Jones. And I know that's a really dumb reason to think a quarterback is bad, but it is just the truth to me. Daniel Jones is never going to be good because his name is dumb.
I mean, Charlie Fry, you think that guy ever had a chance to be good? No,
Brock
his name was
Osweiler?
Charlie Fry.
Yeah, sometimes you're doomed from the start, man. There's nothing that can be done.
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
a miracle you even got to the professional level given your name.
So you got the Vikings winning that one as well?
Yes.
How about Bucks boys?
I'm going Dem Boys.
Your team, we Dem boys?
I'm team Dem Boys. Dak is going to not pass the ball 45 times. I'm going to say the Cowboys throw it no more than 30 times.
Okay.
And they pound the rock with Tony Pollard and Zeke.
What do you think they're going to do, just quick aside, between Tony Pollard and Zeke going forward? Do you think they're both going to be on the team next year?
Is Tony Pollard in his last year of his rookie contract?
I don't know, but they got two starting caliber running
One
backs.
of them is going to go.
I
Because
think-
Jerry Jones is a weirdo.
I
and
feel like
lets
he
all of his
is a weirdo,
weapons walk.
and he's going to let Pollard walk because Zeke was a higher draft pick. But I
You
think
could be
Pollard
right.
is better.
Pollard certainly got more speed
Yeah.
than Zeke.
I have the Bucks winning that game just because Tom Brady's never lost to the Cowboys, and I know that doesn't actually matter. But I mean, look at the Buccaneers. No one wants them to be here. They're boring as hell to watch. Every game they've won has been just hideous and ugly, but they just keep on doing just enough to not die. And I think for one more week, that is going to be the case. I think they are going to beat the Cowboys, and Dallas is going to be super upset because it's going to be another game where they should have won, but maybe Dak throws a pick or two. Maybe there's a turnover. I'm going with the GOAT over Dak is what this prediction amounts to.
I just really don't want the Bucks to win. That's the only reason why I'm picking the Cowboys is because I just want them out of here.
I mean, I
out
wish
of the
they could both
picture.
lose. I would rather have the Lions be all four of the teams in those last two games instead of the four teams that got there.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to the other side, the AFC side, we've got the Dolphins Bills.
I mean, do we even need to talk about this one? What's your take?
The Bills are going to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if it'll be close. It could be close, it could be a blowout, but the Bills are going to win.
I'll get to this later, but I think the Damar Hamlin situation has supercharged the Bills emotionally. I think they're going to beat the brakes off of the Dolphins. And I'm not saying that because I don't think the Dolphins are a bad team. I think they've had some unfortunate injury luck with Tua. I think they're just kind of a depleted, beat up team right now. And they for lack of a better way to put it, they blew their load too quick this year. You know, they looked like one of those October darlings, and now they're kind of, limping their way into the playoffs. So I'm taking the Bills in an easy win, 34-10.
Oh, damn, blowout. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to Cincy, Baltimore. This is a pretty easy selection for me. I think Cincy's going to beat the brakes off of Baltimore.
I agree with you. Especially, I mean, Lamar might not even play, and he's the only thing that I think could give them a chance due to his just wild card nature of being the best athlete on the field. But if he doesn't play, I say it's a blowout. Bengals win like 38-13. If he does play, I think it's a bit closer, but it's still a 2-score win, 10-point victory for Cincy.
Cincy's just too good of a finesse team. They're just like, they can just pass the ball.
They
all
can
over
beat
the
you in a
yard.
lot of different ways too.
Yeah.
I really like that Bengals roster, and I like that they're young and they got just something about their persona just exudes coolness and
Yeah.
and success. I don't really know how to explain it.
This next game might be my, aside from the Seahawks game, I'm probably most excited to watch this
I think
game.
it's the game of the weekend, honestly.
Yeah. And I'm going Jacksonville Jaguars.
As am I. I think the Chargers, I'm glad they made the playoffs because, finally Herbert gets that, little pin in his hat or whatever the hell the expression is. But I just think, especially with Mike Williams going down last week in a meaningless game, that really was someone they needed to be on the field against this Jacksonville team because Trevor Lawrence has been playing like a top 5, top 10 guy for the last few weeks. I know Herbert is just as talented as Lawrence, but Lawrence has had the better season objectively. And I think the supporting cast around him, I mean, the Jaguars have had a lot of high picks for a lot of years, and they kind of remind me of the 49ers a few years ago when all those high picks started to pay off, and the Rams before that. Eventually, when you get the right people in place, especially coaching, the high picks start to pay off. And I think that's starting to happen with Jacksonville here. And I think they're going to win that game.
Yeah, and I really like Doug Peterson, so I'm going to be pulling for the Jags for that reason too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Ferndale boy, so
Local boy.
yeah, we gotta be pulling for him. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a battle of the mains. Got the two quarterbacks with the best hair going at it, but I think, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he's just really shown why he was the number 1 pick all season last year, or all season this year, but number 1 pick last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Jags are gonna go in and get the job done.
All right, so moving on to the divisional round, let's jump back to the NFC. So I have, based on my bracket predictions, Buccaneers versus Vikings. I know neither of those teams are going to be in your game, but I hate doing this, but I think the Buccaneers are going to beat the Vikings because I don't believe in I don't believe in the Bucs either, but I just think that Vikings team is not going to get the job done, and they're going to go home in the divisional round.
So let's see. If I had Dallas winning, and I had the Vikings winning, and I had the Niners winning,
I think for you that would be
it'd be Dallas against Philly and Vikings Niners.
Yes.
Niners are going to win that game. I'm just going to do my NFC side since we're
go for it.
Yeah, I got Niners winning that game, and then I got the Eagles winning over Dallas. And this has kind of been my NFC Championship game prediction for most of the season.
49ers, Eagles
yes.
going into it.
Yes.
So I also have the Eagles making it over us because I think if we do manage to have the miracle upset against the 49ers, I think it's going to be emotionally too much.
Got kind of like the Denver game. Like, we did it. We overachieved. And then it's just going to be like too much celebration over that small victory. That big picture overall. It's I agree. I think it would be
huge to beat the 49ers, though, for sure. Like, it would be one of the best playoff wins in our franchise's history. But I think, like the 2010 Seahawks again, we went into Chicago the next week, and it was not fun to watch. And I think we can play the Eagles close, but they are a better team. I don't think we'll be able to hang with them long enough unless Hurts really poops his pants. So I have NFC Championship being Eagles and Bucks, and I think in that matchup, I know last year the Eagles didn't quite really get close against the Bucks, or maybe it was 2 years ago, I can't remember, but I think this time around the Eagles stomp the Buccaneers and finally end this fraudulent 8 and 9 teams annoying run to the NFC Championship, which I unfortunately think is going to happen. But I think the Eagles all year, beyond the 49ers, they've looked like the team to beat in the NFC Championship, or just in the NFC.
Yeah.
So I think they make it to the bowl this year.
That's a tough one. Niners, Eagles.
If I had my bracket line up that way, I would probably take the Niners over them, to be honest.
I think I'm going to take the Niners over the Eagles just because I just think the Niners' versatility in the run game is just so dangerous. And
their defense is better than the Eagles.
Their defense is the best defense in the NFL. Well, NFC. I don't know about NFL. They
have a strong argument for it, for sure.
But yeah, I got the Niners representing the NFC. Unfortunately, I really hope I'm wrong about that one. But.
So how's your divisional round of the AFC play out then? Since I think we have the same bracket on that side.
So Bengals are what 3 seed?
Yeah,
Bills 2 seed. So
yep.
they'd play each other. Ooh, that would be a good game. It's the game we all wanted to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to
I think we're gonna get it this year.
I think. Yeah, I am gonna go. God, that's like, I almost don't even want to pick a winner or loser in this game. These are like my two favorite teams to watch.
Same. That's exactly how I feel.
I'm gonna go Buffalo Bills. No, because I want the bet. Yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo Bills.
I also think the Bills win that because I think if the Hamlin thing hadn't happened, it could be a different story right now because the Bengals could be the number 2 seed, first of all. But beyond that, I really do think that brought the team together in a way that can't quite be defined. And I think the Bills are just going to play inspired football this postseason. And on top of that, they're already really fucking good. So I think they're going to be invincible, as you'll see later on. But I think they beat the Bengals, and then the other divisional game in the AFC, Chiefs and Jaguars. I think the Jaguars, they're a feisty team, but I think in the fourth quarter, the Chiefs are going to pull away in that game, and it's going to end, and they're going to drop 40. I think they're going to win that game 42-28 kind of win.
I'm going to go upset of the season.
Really?
Jags are going to go into KC, and
oh my God,
they're going to be last year's Bengals, and they're going to beat them.
Wow. That's okay. So who do you got winning the AFC Championship then?
Bills.
Okay. So
it's just going to be one of those games, Jacksonville, KC, where KC just loses, and then Jacksonville, even though they beat them, they lose the following week. It'll just be, kind of like the Niners last year when they beat Green Bay and then lost to the Rams. I think the Jags are that team this postseason.
I think if they pull off that upset in KC, that's very likely to happen. But for me, the outcome is the same. I have Bills over Chiefs in a rematch of the craziest playoff game I think I've ever seen. Well, the Packers Seahawks might have something to say about that. But,
yeah. In recent.
Yes, in recent memory. So my Super Bowl pick, Bills and Eagles, just like yours. I have the Bills prevailing.
I have Bills Niners.
Or, yeah. Never mind. But I think this is the Bills' year. They've suffered through 4 Super Bowl losses in a row. I think this is the year where they finally get one.
I certainly hope so. I also am gonna have the Bills beating the Niners just because I'm rooting for the Bills. Why would I choose the Niners to win? That'll just piss me off. So going Bills, and I think it'll be close, kind of like the Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl a few years ago. But like you were saying with the whole Damar Hamlin incident, I think that's just going to really bring the team together, and they're just going to be playing on another level. They're going to be having something. They're just going to be playing more meaningful football, I think, than the Niners are. Even though the Niners, as bad as they want it, I'm sure Kyle Shanahan, if he loses another Super Bowl, goddamn, you really feel for the guy. But yeah, I think it's Bills Mafia time. I
agree. So in conclusion to this prediction, Bills Mafia time, Seahawks. The Cinderella run gets us pretty far, but not all the way there, and we move into uncharted territory with the Bills having a ring.
Yeah,
be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we got time for this week. So thanks again for listening. Jonah, what we got going on next week? I guess we'll probably just be talking about the playoff games.
Yeah, probably just recap. One of these days we gotta figure out our camera sitch. Probably get that going pretty soon. But other than that, got nothing else besides go Hawks.
Go Hawks, baby. We'll catch you on the next one.